How much water would one want to drink in order to maximize their ability to lose weight? How much water would one want to drink to maximize overall health? Well, the amount of water does change depending on where you live, right? If the temperature is really hot, if you're dealing with a lot of that, then of course you're going to benefit from drinking more water. But water 100% is your friend. Okay, so I get asked this question all the time, right? From clients as well as from people just curious or just in conversation. And that is, why is it that some people can be massively overweight, considered obese, but yet have no health challenges, right? They don't have type 2 diabetes. They're not pre-diabetic. Their fasting glucose is absolutely amazing on a day-to-day basis. There's no fatty liver. There's no high triglycerides. I mean, everything like why? How? Help me help you. Help me help you. So, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer this question. Or maybe you just find it something of, you're just curious, right? It's really interesting. And it 100% will help you understand why you want to do certain things to maximize not just your ability to lose weight, but your overall health. So one of the best examples for helping you understand what I'm about to share with you is taking a close look at the Japanese sumo wrestler. Actually, I'm not going to say Japanese. That's where they're known and that's where the sport comes from. But you don't have to be Japanese to be a sumo wrestler. I used to know a guy born and raised right here in Detroit, Michigan, who was a sumo wrestler and did really well when he went to Japan and competed. Now, a sumo wrestler on average is going to be somewhere between 300 and 400 pounds. And sumo wrestlers, what's interesting about these guys is that they're very athletic. They work out a lot. But the point I want to make and what I want to share with you is that they store most of their fat weight subcutaneously, meaning the fat is between the skin and the muscle. Whereas people who are dealing with chronic illnesses and conditions, they tend to store most of their fat in visceral areas around the organs. And that's what tends to drive like the blood pressure to be elevated, and what's correlated with many of the illnesses that people are dealing with on a regular basis. So it makes you wonder, like, why is it that the sumo wrestler, think about this, the sumo wrestler has most of his fat between the skin and the muscle, and other people that are 300, 400, 500 pounds end up having a whole bunch of fat around their organs? Well, it has a lot to do with the fat cell that secretes this hormone called adiponectin. Okay. Adiponectin is a hormone that, when elevated, will relate to your fat being stored subcutaneous. That's like the fat you can pinch, right? And not visceral. Adiponectin is a hormone that kind of shuttles the fat either to the subcutaneous area or to the visceral area. So the more adiponectin that you have, the healthier you will be. Now, when a person loses weight, they secrete more adiponectin. When your body fat and your fat cells shrink, you secrete more adiponectin. There's two other ways that I know 100% where you can increase this hormone, which is what you want. Taking a fish oil, like an omega-3 or krill oil, is known to help increase your levels of adiponectin. And the thing that the sumo wrestler does is what you want to do to increase your levels of adiponectin, and that is exercise. Yes, exercise. The sumo wrestler is exercising 4, 5, 6 hours a day. Now, I am not asking you to exercise 4, 5, 6 hours a day. However, exercise has all these benefits to include increasing your levels of this hormone, adiponectin. Now, what else do we want to know about this whole story? Well, this part is sad and quite interesting. When the sumo wrestler, let's say he's 30 years old, decides to retire, that means he's no longer training like a sumo wrestler, right? And these guys can eat, but they work out hard. They eat, right? Well, the same thing that happened to Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley and many popular athletes when they first quit or retire from their sport is they gain weight. And unfortunately, they gain weight. Next thing you know, they have high blood pressure and they have all the challenges that the sumo wrestler eventually has. And that is type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, high triglycerides, cardiovascular risk, big time. When they quit exercising, months, couple years, no more than 5 at the most. Okay. And I'm kind of just generalizing it. That sumo wrestler who had no health concerns now has multiple metabolic conditions that is not good. And the sumo wrestler who used to exercise all the time, no longer exercising, but still eating the way he ate, guess what? They don't have that much of a life expectancy. The average sumo wrestler is going to die between the ages of 50 and 60. Whereas the counterparts, the people who were never a sumo wrestler, are living 10 plus 20 years longer than a sumo wrestler. Well, the sumo wrestler could continue to be as active, or they must cut back on their food intake when they no longer are training as a sumo wrestler, and then establish the lifestyle that we're always talking about. So there you have it. That's a snapshot. There's a whole bunch more that could be said, but exercise is your friend. Personally, I exercise because I know how I'm going to feel. It just so happens to be part of what I encourage and recommend to people. If I was not in the space of being America's fat loss coach, a nutritionist, a guy who's wanting to help people live their healthiest life, I would have a lifestyle just like what I have now. I would be exercising, not 4 or 5, 6 hours a day, but I would do more or less like what I do today. I'm going to exercise anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes. I wish I could exercise every day, but my schedule does not permit that. So if I get in 5 times a week, then I'm a happy camper when I'm able to do that. So the hormone we're talking about is adiponectin. And you can increase that by supplementing with an omega-3 fatty acid. I put it out there. I asked on Facebook, and usually I get good response and good answers on Facebook, but I put it out there. I said, is there any multi-level marketing companies that have a really good like omega-3 supplement? And a lot of brands were talked about, but I still have not come across a company that's a multi-level marketing company that actually offers this supplement. So if you catch this on Facebook, you catch this on YouTube, I'm very interested because I would recommend it to quite a few people who are wanting to maximize their overall health. And so reach out to me, send me an email, let me know. I would appreciate it. Other than that, as your nutritionist and a guy who actually cares, do me a favor and especially on YouTube, comment, let me know where you're from, share, subscribe. All righty. So I'm Rferguson. It's been nothing but fun. Hopefully I share some insight about the life expectancy and the lifestyle of the sumo wrestler and how people can be overweight and extremely fit. I see it all the time, but when they make lifestyle changes that don't include the things that were keeping them healthy, then there's a negative. And I'm specifically talking about the sumo wrestler who's 400 pounds. He's working out 4 or 5, 6 hours a day, and then he's no longer doing that. He retires, but yet he continues to eat the way he eats. You're going to run into some problems, and they do.